This little monkey has just been born. He was caught by the Monkey King to see if he has the potential for an heir. He let out an angry roar at him. The little monkey was not afraid, but without equivocation. With a punch from the Monkey King was overjoyed. This is what the heir to the throne should look like. And that's when the bald monkey next to him pulled out a scrawny monkey. His name is Ed. It's a twin. According to tradition, the skinny monkey is the first in line. He is worthy of the throne. Look at the two children in your hands. The Monkey King was in trouble. The sorcerer thinks that this little monkey is an outlier in the herd. Demagogic Monkey King abandons Ade. The Monkey King is reluctant to part, but I finally listened to the witches. He told the monkey to get rid of Ed. Fortunately, the little guy survived. He was entangled and almost fell into that mouth of the wolf. Innocent Ed thought he was playing a game until the wolf chewed off his hand. At this point, Big Nose found him. The Big Nose is a group abandoned mute. He saved Ed, put him on his shoulder, and walked with him. Time flies. In a flash, Ed had grown up. Although he was born thin and lost his right hand, but he's smart. A fan was made of leaves to cool off. Made a drinking machine with grass leaves to quench his thirst. It also succeeded in finding natural glue. This day, Ed and the Big Nose saw the monkeys playing the Rattan game. His little brother is galloping across the field. The full potential of the heir to the throne. Just when two people can see infatuate, the ball flew up to the Big Nose. Big Nose is a fan. The body lunged at the ball out of control. The ball accidentally fell into the crack. The wonderful game was interrupted. A bunch of people who pretend to be mad at them. Ed was in a hurry. Stuck the ball in the ground with natural glue. This operation surprised all the guesses in an instant. The crowd was full of admiration for Ed. At this moment, Big Zhuang walked to come over. He thinks Ed stole his thunder, and I just picked Ed up. And that's when Bald Monkey on the side found Ed short. A piece of a toe looks just like a big one. This is unique to the heir to the throne. The monkey knew in a flash. This is the little monkey that was abandoned in those days. After a big warning, throw Ed to the ground, but the ball stuck to my hand, so he called everyone to help, and accidentally let the ball fly into the air. It fell on the Monkey King's head. The bald monkey yanked the ball off. The Monkey King turned his head into the Mediterranean Sea. At this time, the ingenuity of Ed used the leaves made him a crown. Then he made a mirror out of lotus leaves and water. For the first time, the Monkey King saw his handsome face. Then Ed tore off a few more vines, spread a few leaves to make a chair. Just when they're in the middle of something new, the witch summoned a swarm of brilliant insects. The point is to kill Ed. Flustered, Ed accidentally threw the Monkey King off a cliff. The witch took the opportunity to criticize Ed's scheme for the throne, and so he instantly became one of the heavens. Dashing even lifted his neck directly, threw him off a cliff. But the Monkey King is not dead. When he climbed up, he was full of anger and pretentious. Big Zhuang refuses to accept. You've done this before. The Monkey King was silent. He crouched at the edge of the cliff, as if in repentance for what he did. This is the first human being to walk on his feet. In order to reach the ostrich's mouth, he tried to stand on both feet for the first time. Took the first steps in evolution. It turns out that the world is so rich and colorful, but I didn't have time to appreciate it. A pack of hungry wolves charged at Ed. He hastened to run away with the ostrich. Looking at the ostrich, he learned to run, became the first ape to stand and run on the prairie. Passing by a rhinoceros herd, I thought the rhino could fend off the wolves for him, but the rhino turned around and ran after Ed. There was no escape. Moments of crisis. The Monkey King arrived in time. First he stopped the rhino at the head of the race. A rhinoceros herd that bounced off its appendages and grabbed another rhino and hit the wolves. A rhino was about to crash into Ed. The Monkey King hurriedly used his own body to stop the rhinoceros from taking a fatal blow, and the Monkey King was killed. Zhuang brought his father's family back to the clan. He will succeed to the throne. According to the tradition of the ethnic group, Zhuang must eat his own father. This will make you as strong and brave as your father. Just as he was getting ready to talk, Ed appeared and shouted to stop. A sudden flash of lightning scares everyone off. Ed took the opportunity to leave the group with the Monkey King's ruler, and buried with stones. Let the Monkey King rest in peace. Then the weather changed suddenly. A tornado is on the way. Ed had the misfortune to be involved. In the air, Ed met his own goddess, Lucy. Ed just tried to get close, but was blown away by a tornado. Lucy had the misfortune to fall off a cliff. Ed tied the rope around his waist, with Lucy on his back. Near the top of the hill, the rope was broken. Fortunately, Big Nose in time to save them, but the first thing the goddess wakes up to was to give Ed a big hand. Lucy was frightened and ran away. Ed went after him, dodging the surging rhinoceros herd, over the hot lava, climb up the steep cliff, finally caught up with the goddess. The goddess stood up as Ed had done. The two of them were so happy. Sit down and enjoy the sunset. The first attempt in human history to train a wolf, but the result, go get the bone, don't bite me. No, Ed and the goddess began to evolve wildly together. They learned to use tools to pick fruit, to hunt with flying stones, and made sharp weapons. At night they came upon the flint, succeeded in making the first fire. Ed and goddess began to use fire to grill food. The people in the trees smelled the smell of roast meat. It all boiled up, and that's when there was a cry of the beasts. The people were in a panic. A curious little ape man, into a hole in a tree. I came across a witch doing something. When the witch tried to kill the monkey, the tribe showed up just in time, drove the witch away. To see Ed so well fed every day, the people came dropping to the ground to take refuge in Ed. Under Ed's leadership, the people of the tribe not only learned to walk upright, houses and bridges began to be built. The use of natural pigments for mural painting. There is too much food to eat. They gradually developed the dimensions of human society. See the belly of the goddess bulge day by day. Ed knew he was going to be a father. However, the beauty of all this, but was devoured by a sudden army of locusts. The suspension bridges of the houses collapsed. The clan scurried about in fear. Turns out it was all a witch's fault. The angry monkeys rushed at the tree with torches, but then Big and Strong came forward. He did not allow his majesty to be provoked. The war is about to break out. The torch that had escaped during the fight accidentally set the tree on fire, and the strong wife is still in the tree. Moments of crisis. Ed used his wisdom to make the tame. The wolf dragged himself up the tree to save Zhuang's wife, but I was accidentally. The fallen branch pressed down on the ground. Big Zhuang hesitated for a moment when he found out. Or did he carry Ed on his back and escape from the flames? And the witches were punished accordingly. Watching the once home turn into a ruin, the two brothers who have experienced life and death have finally cleared up their differences, hugging each other. Subsequent, the two brothers took their clansmen on the move. They crossed the lava, across the canyon. It is a world full of vitality that comes into sight. Right here, they will re-establish their new homes. Skinny Ed wasn't the strongest king, but he was a king who used his wisdom to evolve. I believe that under his leadership, the ethnic group will continue to advance toward a modern civilization.